Este es el tema 7.2, las palabras negativas e indefinidas. So we're talking about indefinite words that refer to people and things that are not specific. For example, saying someone or something. We're not giving a name, we're not giving a specific relationship, like say my friend or my mom. I'm just talking about someone or something. Negative words deny the existence of people and things or contradict statements. For instance, no one or nothing. You can see the difference in here. In here is only talking about something who is not specific, but in here we are denying. Spanish indefinite words have corresponding negative words, which are opposite in meaning. And we're going to look at the chart to give more detail about that. So we have indefinite words over here and negative words over here. Algo, something. We're not specifying. However, if we say nada, that means nothing. Alguien, someone, just a random person, someone, somebody. Over here, we're talking about the non-existence of that, and we are going to use nadie, no one, or nobody. Algún, alguno, alguna, algunas, some, or any. Ningún, ninguno, none, or not any. O, and then a noun in between, o, either or, and then the negative one is ni, a noun over here, ni. And I will obviously explain a little bit more of this. Siempre, always, nunca, or jamás, never. También, also, tampoco, neither. There are two ways to form negative sentences in Spanish. You can place the negative word before the verb, or you can place no before the verb and the negative word after. So I know that in English we cannot use double negatives, but in Spanish we can do that. We are able to do that. Nadie se levanta temprano. No one gets up early. I'm not saying who specifically. I'm just using, that vague word, if you may. No se levanta nadie temprano. So those are the two forms that we can use the negative words in a negative statement, even though we have two. That is correct in Spanish, and even if in English it would be, it would sound off if we use a double negative. Ellos nunca gritan. They never shout. Ellos no gritan nunca. Okay, so please keep this in mind. There are two ways, and you should recognize the one that is easier for you or the one that you remember. Even though both of those are correct, maybe one it will be easier for you to remember. So then again, going back to those indefinite words. ¿Hay algún problema? So remember that in Spanish 111 we were talking about hay, and that means is there or are there, or we can use it on statements to say there is or there are. In this specific situation, we are using it in a question. ¿Hay algún problema? Is there any problem? I don't know if there's any problem. I don't know if there's any issue. I don't know what that issue is. I'm just asking, ¿hay algún problema? Siempre me haces esto. Well, that is only the answer, but I want you to focus over here using algún. Is there any problem in here? Because they refer to people, alguien and nadie are often used with the personal a. The personal a is used before alguno, alguna, algunos, algunos, or ninguno, ninguna. As you can see, those that refer to people. And they are direct object of the verb. For example, in here, perdón, señor, ¿busca usted a alguien? Are you looking for someone in specific? No, gracias, señora. Señorita, no busco a nadie. No, I'm not looking for anyone in particular. Tomás, ¿buscas a alguno de tus hermanos? Are you looking for some of your siblings? No, Mom, I'm not looking. I'm not trying to find any of them. Okay? So, a nadie, a alguien, a alguno, a ninguno, whenever they refer to people, and whenever they are the direct object of the verb, so it means that that verb, the action falls directly on that person, then that's the moment that we are going to use a in front. Before a masculine singular noun, alguno and ninguno are shortened to algún and ningún. I don't know if you remember, but in Spanish 111, there's something happening as well whenever we use uno, which is the indefinite article, whenever we're using uno followed by a noun, that is also shortened to un. Same thing happens whenever we have numbers, for example, 21, 21, 31, 41. That happens as well, and whenever they go with a noun, they get shortened to un, 21, 31. So this is only for you to connect those two rules, because in here the same is going to happen. Alguno is going to turn into algún. Ninguno is going to turn into ningún whenever we have the noun right after the word. And then this compare and contrast is to focus on the double negative. So as I previously mentioned, in English we usually don't use, or it's incorrect to use more than one negative word in a sentence, but in Spanish it is frequently used this way whenever we have two or actually more than two negative words. For example, in here, nunca le escribo a nadie. Technically it would say I never write to no one. In English would sound off, but in Spanish makes perfect sense. No me preocupo nunca por nada. I do not ever worry about anything, okay? It would say something like never again. I don't worry never for nothing, okay? So I know that it is hard for you to wrap your head around this. Just remember that in Spanish it's totally fine. So we are saying I do not ever worry about anything, okay? And this is mainly to emphasize those statements, okay? Pero is used to mean but. The meaning of sino is rather or on the contrary. So you're going to also see these words which are negative words. So make sure that you remember pero, sino, in the different situations where we can find them. Okay? So here we have some examples. Los estudiantes no se acuestan temprano, sino tarde. Okay? The students don't go to bed early, but rather late. María no habla francés, sino español. María doesn't speak French, but rather Spanish. So you can see over here. Las toallas son caras, pero bonitas. The towels are expensive, but they are beautiful. José es inteligente, pero no saca buenas notas. José is intelligent, but he doesn't get good grades. Okay? So then again, just to recap, we're talking about indefinite and negative words. Definitely, I want you to look at this slide, which is slide number 2 from 7.2, 7.2, palabras negativas e indefinidas. I want you guys to also look at this explanation telling you that it's fine to use more than one, two, or more than two negative words in Spanish, even in the same statement. And I want you to look at pero and sino and the ways that they are used.